1-800-651-1800. That's 1-800-651-1800 or online at plcinsurance.com.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
7:36 in Chicago. How about we get an update on the roads? Team Hochberg Traffic Center time and Jim.
Traffic has improved on the outbound Ryan. The local lanes are open again between 63rd and the Skyway. They'd been closed for a shooting investigation. Express lanes are still blocked, 35th to 51st, after an overnight wreck involving a motorcycle. There's a new collision at 31st in the left lane. CTA Red Line service remains suspended between 63rd and 35th. CTA Yellow Line trains are running again after some switching problems near Oakton. On the inbound Kennedy, delays start at Cumberland, 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown. On Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to the Burns Circle. To Stevenson, 34 minutes, 355 to the Drive. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our AM 560 Weather Center. Sunshine, highs in the upper 70s in your forecast. Beautiful evening ahead, clear, lows in the upper 50s overnight. 57 at O'Hare, 45 this morning in Aurora. Winds are calm. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.
Tell us what they mean.
I'm the town crier. Hear ye, hear ye. Better than expected, so that should be good news. We were looking for a gain of 1.32 million jobs, and we got 1.37 million jobs. So that's a decent gain. And the unemployment rate fell from 10.2 to 8.4. We were looking for it to fall to 9.8. So another good beat there.
Are we having seeing an increase in labor participation rates?
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Oh, okay.
But I would say just on the headline numbers,
Most
the market
likely.
likes these. Yeah, and then I would say it'll be interesting to see after an 800-point sell-off in the Dow yesterday how the market will digest these numbers. I mean, it could go either way because it could sell the fact that we've got these numbers out, or it could be something. I know that initially the futures market took a little bit of a jump higher because these were calmed some nerves after yesterday. So we'll see.
I didn't like yesterday. I'm become accustomed to the Dow only going up again,
yeah.
and I expect Apple to split a couple more times for my retirement and for the Dow continue at about a 45-degree angle. I mean, I don't want to go like full Robert Schiller here, the Yale professor who I think predicted like Dow 120,000 by 2030. But
I wonder if he was long.
yeah. Although the flip side is he also, I believe he was the professor also correctly predicted the tech bubble bursting. So, I don't know. Could be Dow 120 by 2030. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we have, in the last 30 or 40 years, we've lost half the stocks to invest in, and we've got 4 times as much capital out there. So that's going to play right to your themes. There's not a lot of places to put the money.
Are you surprised by another relatively good number, all things considered? And when I say all things considered, I'm not channeling NPR. I'm referencing the fact that you still have major American cities and states operating at a quarter to 50% capacity.
Right. It is. It's an amazing thing. We've seen a V-shaped recovery in the equity markets.
Yes, in the equity markets.
And we have not seen a V-shaped recovery in the economy.
It's more of like a K-shape.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long K because look at the cities that haven't come back online. And look, again, our service sector, which is massive, can only operate at 25 to 50% of capacity, which then would say 25 to 50% of your revenues, right? But they're still asked to pay 100% of their overheads and taxes. It's just not going to. So the government's letting them die slower, right? They're still drowning. They just took off their shoes. Right?
And when we say the government, too, we have to distinguish federal from state and local. And I know this is a difficult thing to do in the context of a presidential campaign for Trump, but maybe it would behoove him to do that. Say, look, at the federal level, we're doing everything we can, but you have to, if you're withering on the vine in Chicago, Illinois, then, you got to talk to your Chicago and Illinois politicians, man. There's only so much I can do.
I'm so angry I'd go one step further, Dan. I would say if you're a New York restaurant and you've got de Blasio saying no in-room dining until next year, You know what you need to do? You have to form a restaurant association, which I'm sure they already have, come out with 10 guidelines, best practices, and open up on Monday. Everybody. They can't arrest everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen is either I'm going to go bankrupt or I'm going to jail. I mean, that's what they're facing. There's no, if I stay closed until next spring, I'm going to go bankrupt and lose everything. Or if I run the gauntlet and open up tomorrow, I got a chance of making a little bit of money and see what happens.
For more on all this, we're pleased to be joined by Erin Perrini. She is a Trump campaign director of press communications, and she knows a little bit about what you're speaking about. Her parents run a small business in Kenosha, of all places. Erin, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So how does the campaign receive the numbers out this morning and where we are in terms of recovering the equity markets, different than recovery, on Main Street?
Well, bringing on over 1 million jobs for another month in a row. This is, consecutive months where we have been able to bring more than 1 million jobs back on board in the United States. It really does speak to the strong economic foundation that President Trump was able to build by getting government out of the way, by allowing free enterprise and business to succeed with less taxes, less regulation, less burden. And so as things begin to reopen, you see that those are still opportunities. But as you guys were talking about, we need these states to reopen. The president's been talking about that, and there are so many ways to be able to safely do so. But states that are remaining closed are doing so not only to the detriment of small businesses, not only to the detriment of those employees, but to the larger community detriment. You're talking about those jobs, those paychecks, those families. A lot of people need to be able to get back to work so they can send their kids back to school. So it's a larger conversation about what needs to be done in order to get America back on its complete solid footing. But again, great job numbers. Seeing the unemployment go down below double digits again, I think that's a huge thing to be able to see. And we're on the right track, but these governors need to do the work to let these states open. It's unbelievable.
You're so right, and I'm so angry, as you can tell. But the only aid package that this country needs, forget about Pelosi, all right? The only aid package this country needs is to open up the economy. That'll save us a lot of money, and away we go. But nobody wants to do that. Everybody's so afraid. Just throw this economy wide open, and if you don't want to get sick, don't go outside. But don't make your fears make me change my habits, right? If I want to go out to dinner, I'll go out to dinner. That's fine. But I don't understand why we just...
It's free choice.
Yeah, throw the thing open to democracy, open up the economy, and forget about these stupid aid packages that are going to leverage my grandkids, forever.
Well, I think that there's a lot of truth to saying that, right? When we talk about being able to reopen the economy, you need to give people the choice as well. It's like President Trump, we're having these hangar-style events again, these airport hangar-style events. If you're in a higher risk group, enjoy our event online. You don't have to come out and see the president in person, although there's nothing quite as fun as being out when the president's giving remarks and he's on a roll, that's for sure. But people need to be able to make the choice, and that's the beauty of the United States, and it's certainly the beauty of this country under President Trump. It's about choice, it's about freedom, and it's about opportunity. Government's should not be telling you whether you can or cannot go to the gym, whether you can or cannot go to a restaurant. What they should say is, you need to make the right decision for yourself, and we're going to put some guardrails along the way to make sure we can keep it as safe as possible.
And in my short years on this earth, I would say, exactly what you said is correct, but I would say one step further. I think those on the right believe in choice, and those on the left don't believe in choice. If there's a sticky situation, they either want to ban it or take the choice away from you by banning it, right? So that's what I think that this is all about, that power and banning and not putting it out to the democracy and letting people do their own free will. And that's one of the biggest problems. I think that, look, if you don't like porn, don't buy it, right? That's fine. No, but on their end, it's just ban it, take it away. We're going to take the decision out of your hands because we know better. And I think that's really where this thing falls down.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to what Scott was saying. It just seems to me, you always look, it's like sort of the follow the money admonition. Like, look who's winning in these situations, big tech companies and big government. And it seems to me the people who say keep the economy locked down are basically saying, I'm rich, I have options. The people who say keep the schools closed, I'm rich, I have options for my kids. And what they want to do is exhaust your options so that you're beholden to them and the institutions in which they believe because they control.
I mean, that's right. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi, the queen of hypocrisy, walking around in a salon in San Francisco that is being forced to stay closed because of Governor Newsom out there. But she can go walk around with no mask on, getting her hair done after she screams at everybody about making them wear masks. I mean, it's just the hypocrisy of the left over and over again, and they really keep showing us who they are and what they believe in. I think at some point we got to start believing that they believe government has all of the answers, but you've seen dictatorships, you've seen countries that allow total government autonomy and rule. They fail, and it is the antithesis to America. But when we say that that is on the ballot in November, that it's a choice between freedom and socialism, total government control, I mean, Joe Biden has unequivocally said he would go and shut down the government again. He would go down and shut down the country again. That is tyranny. We should not have to make a choice in America between tyranny and freedom, but that's really what's at stake here.
I can't even stand the fact that he even thinks he'll have the option. It's like that would kill America. I mean, what if he doesn't even have the option? What if we get to a point where we don't have enough money, we have to stay open? What is everybody going to do? Hide under their desk? It might not be an option.
They won't have a desk. They don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
So, Erin, let me raise one communication issue with you, because I know you don't get nearly enough advice as much as you'd like from guys who talk on the radio for a living. I'm sure the campaign is really suffering from the lack of input. But the President Trump saying, I built the greatest economy and I'm going to do it again, is sort of one of his value propositions as a candidate. It's minor, but I think it's major. We built this, and here's how we did it. Because this is not me or Joe Biden building it. It is the president and the parties in charge of the federal government creating the conditions for which Americans can thrive. Productive, risk-taking behavior by entrepreneurs, our job creators, our hardworking Americans. We did this together, and we can do it again, but we can't do it under that policy regime. We're doing it right now, even with some governors and mayors tying one hand behind our back. We're doing it together. Think what we could do if we pursued my policy vision, what we were doing prior to the outbreak versus what Joe Biden has in store, as you were just saying, relocking down America.
I mean, I think that's a fair point, right? Obama always used to say, well, you didn't build that. But this is a great American economy that, President Trump has led the way with pro-growth policies, getting government out of the way. But it's allowed the American people, these businesses, these entrepreneurs, the greatness of America is its small businesses. It's the fabric of our country. The president has gotten the government out of the way to allow small, medium, and large-sized businesses to succeed. And he's the only person, and to your point, that could do that again, that can keep the government out of the way, allow the free markets to work, allow entrepreneurs to succeed in this country without heavy government regulation. And it's a team effort, and it's an all-American, all-hands-on-deck thing. I think it's a fair point.
And how your family's business in Kenosha, how did it fare amid the rioting and looting and whatnot?
Yes, it's actually my aunt and uncle's business. They own a gas station down right where everything was happening. Thankfully, they were just a couple of blocks away, but nothing got burned down. We were very thankful. But it was a scary couple of days there where they were boarding up and they were trying to just protect their livelihoods, where they're staying up all night to make sure that violent rioters and looters don't come in as they're trying to come back from the coronavirus. Right, every business got hit by that. But they're trying to come back only to have to worry that not only do they have to shut down because of curfew, so they're limiting their ability, the government's limiting their ability to operate within a normal set of hours. It's a 24-hour gas station, but shutting down because of curfew costs them money, but then the cost of having to provide security, the cost of everything involved in coming back from coronavirus, it's just been really difficult. But thankfully, the business remains intact and they'll get back on their feet.
Well, there's another thing that you've kind of thinly touch there, and that's some of these governors, regardless of the president, are almost like hurting their own constituents to prove a point, almost like we're going to run our economy into the ground here to prove that you're not worthy, right? And it's like Margaret Thatcher said this about 40 years ago in Parliament. The left will gladly they'll make the poor poorer as long as the rich are less rich. And it just feels like that with some of these governors about how they're opening up their economies. And I just don't understand, like you said, your aunt and uncle, small business people. What if they owned a restaurant and they couldn't have indoor dining until next year? Who can stay alive with that? What are they thinking? But the next state over, you can do it. Is that my America? So I think some of these governors have got a lot to answer for because they're actually hurting. It seems to me that they're hurting their own constituents to prove a point to the president.
I mean, that's right. I think there is some politics playing into it. I mean, you look at Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin. He didn't want the president to come to Kenosha to talk about rebuilding and making sure resources were available. And then the president comes and he offers $1 million to the local police department. He offered over $40 million in funding for Wisconsin statewide safety measures and $4 million for Kenosha small businesses to rebuild. But Tony Evers was playing politics and trying to keep the president out. I mean, you look at the New Jersey governor. He won't allow in-state dining, in people to open their restaurants. So he goes into Pennsylvania and gets a photo of him taken there eating in a restaurant. It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
Right, the rules for thee but not for me culture. And that's the ruling class. She is Erin Perrini, Trump Campaign Director of Press Communications. Erin, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And she joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Have you noticed cracked or sinking concrete around your home, driveways, sidewalks, garage floors, or patios? In addition to looking bad, cracked or sinking concrete causes an uneven surface that poses a safety hazard. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Would you like to fix the problem without replacing the concrete? We have the solution for you. Permaseal polylevel foam can be injected beneath concrete surfaces, leveling and preventing future settlement. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL for a free evaluation. The polylevel process is done with minimal disruption.